So we currently live in a time and place where studios are trying to either remake classics or make sequels to classics. And in this case, I'm talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, I grew up watching the first two Ghostbusters movie, more the second one than the first one, mainly because it was a little bit more cleaned up, so they played it more on TV. But I have seen both of them. It's been a while, but I've seen them both. And I can honestly say this movie leans into them very, very well and plays up the legacy of the Ghostbusters very, very damn well, and probably the best that are going to be able to get it with a fresh kind of like reboot slash sequel kind of way. So I thought Phoebe, the new main character, the little girl, she did a great job in this movie. Like you can really tell, like she's kind of off, but she's quirky. You know what I mean? She's not to where you're like, oh, you're gonna be somebody who needs to be on a watch list, or you're somebody who needs. No, you're more just like, okay, you're kind of socially awkward. I can kind of relate to that, and yeah, okay, you're really, really smart, and she pretty much carries the movie. She does that good of a job to where everybody else seems like they're not trying as hard as this girl is. Like she makes the movie. They do play up Harold Ramis's death a bit in this movie. Actually, a bit more than a bit, because the movie's called Afterlife for a reason. They end up killing off his character, Egon Spangler, in a very, very tasteful way, honestly. Because there had to be a reason why he wasn't in the movie if this was going to be playing up the original. So what they did is they had him kind of everybody believed he went senile and thought that Gozer from the first movie was coming back and that he had to trap him and put an end to him once and for all. And almost does so at the beginning of the movie, but his trap ends up failing. And in a very, very dramatic and intense scene, you actually get to see his death using a stand-in, which they keep hidden in shadow, so you don't ever see his face. He never talks, so you can't really tell that anything's wrong. And then later, when he comes back in spiritual form, when the rest of the Ghostbusters show up to help out the new Ghostbusters to capture him, they use obviously de-aging and CGI, but they do it very, very well. And since he's supposed to look like a ghost anyway, the CGI kind of blends in seamlessly. It's done very, very well. And then the goodbyes are, tug at your heartstrings. Like in a way, it feels like they're saying goodbye to the actual person, not just the character, but the person as well. So, in conclusion, I really do think that when they do make a sequel to this, which, trust me, they need to make a sequel to this because it is well done, to where this isn't just some one-off where, okay, in another 5-10 years we can reboot this again and try again. No, I think this one's going to be the one that sticks, the one where they're like, okay, it's done tastefully, it's not overblown, it's not a CGI mess. There are plenty of practical effects in there too. Now there is some corporate sponsorship as well that you can pretty much point out. It's blatantly obvious, but I can put up with that if it tells a good story. And I feel like Ghostbusters Afterlife not only tells a good Ghostbusters story for them trying to reboot this franchise for a new generation, it tells a very good personal story, good character story of the main lead and her mother dealing with her grandfather's passing. Her son Trevor's in there too, but he doesn't really get to do much except for get a love interest and then become one of the Ghostbusters at the end of the movie. But he fills out his role just fine. So in the end, Ghostbusters Afterlife, very enjoyable, very tasteful. Let me know what you thought about it down below. And do you think that they should make a sequel? Do you think, what would you do for a sequel? And like, share, and subscribe this video to this channel. And yeah, I'll see everybody in the next one.